Hello, everybody. Russell Hill. Thanks for joining us for WTF, and that's What the Fixed Ops. Hey, listen, we have, man, look, you see this? We got the Solutionaries, right? These Solutionaries. Now, listen, you guys know Lou and Fred with the car guys, et cetera, et cetera. I know all of you, we run in the same circles, but here's something a little bit different. See, they're normally doing all these interviews, okay? And you know a little bit about them, but today we're going to do a little deeper dive. We're going to find out a little bit more about Fred and Lou and what they're up to and all the exciting new things they're doing out there in the market. Now, I am your host. We also have our co-host, which is Charity Dunning. Charity, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everyone.
And look, we're just going to dive in. We're going to have some fun. We're going to ping and pong. We're going to break it up. So buckle up, Buttercup. Strap yourself in, because here we go. Okay. So say hello to everybody, Lou and Fred.
Hello, everybody. This is Ramirez.
Welcome.
And this is Fred Lennartz, subprime hero. I think we all know that, right? If you guys have been out there, you've been seeing this. But if you're first time ever meeting Lou and I, we are the certified Solutionaries. We're also the hosts of the Car Guy Coffee podcast, and we're very passionate about this business. We love caffeinating cultures, and we're all about bringing value and bringing solutions to the workplace. Man, so let's go. Let's brew.
Absolutely.
And we love Russell, and we love Charity. They're amazing people. Let's go.
Love the energy. We know, you have the Car Guy Coffee podcast. We know you come from automotive, but we don't really know your story, who you are, how you got into automotive, how you know each other. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah. Give us the journey. Tell us your journey of how you came together, because it wasn't by mistake.
No, it definitely was not.
Very divine.
So on this, I'm going to go age before beauty on this one.
Oh, if it's age before beauty, then I'm in like both categories, my friend.
There you go, baby.
If you go deep diving back to when we first met, it's been almost 20 years, about 18, 19 years ago. I was a floor manager after starting at a store, after being in the military for 4 years in the Air Force, got out. I was looking for a career. Car business kind of landed in my lap. I loved it. It's very competitive. It's fun. It was a very go ahead. You could earn what you put into it type thing. I was like, this is cool. So I loved it. After about a year, I became floor manager. I was very new at that. Lou had came into the dealership looking for a job. They hired him and he was on my team. So I had him and I got a chance to pour into him, teach him the things that I had learned up to, I knew everything by then. I was
you knew it all, right?
I already knew it all, right?
So I've been there. I understand, right?
I'm teaching him what I knew at the time. And it was, we had a lot of fun. Lou was obviously a fast learner, rock and rolled. We developed a great relationship then between us two. Even our families got connected, wives, our kids, so we hung out quite a bit, journeyed through the industry, through life together, through different places together and a lot of places apart. About 3 years ago, I was going through something and like going through a growth spurt in my life. I was like really diving deep into growth, reading, learning, all that kind of stuff. And absolutely, I got inspired to do a podcast, and Lou was the first person I could think of. And when I made that, because I was thinking about a lot of people, and there's a lot of people in my life that are amazing car people that I was just like, okay, or even just amazing people that I could have reached out to, but I wanted somebody that I knew had the same type of, just like, if he's going to do it, it's going to do it, right? Somebody who would put as much energy into it as I would, somebody who would be obsessed with it like me, right? So I call up Lou. I was like, man, it's the one. Hey, Lou, I'm really thinking about doing a podcast, looking for a co-host. What would you think? He's like, yeah, man. And I'll let Lou tell you the rest of the story from there.
Come on, baby.
So from there, we took the culmination of all of our education in the car business at the time. We were really digging deep into transforming the way that people saw how to actually work in the dealership, the activities that needed to be done, the culture that had to be accomplished. And I was enjoying the time that we were really just getting in there and inspiring everybody. And in that, we continued to take that energy onto the microphone and start to share out everywhere that we possibly could why this is a business that we should be proud of, why this is an industry that we can see so many people reach towards goals that they never even dreamed about, and how this was a great opportunity for anybody that we ran into. And pouring that into the people that were in front of us turned into an opportunity for us to say, well, now that this is spilling over and we are pouring into all of the cups that are around us, and some drink it up, some don't drink it up. Well, let's continue to take this culture. Let's continue to take these skills. Let's continue to take this mindset and the heartbeat and start pouring into other people. So inside of that, we definitely teamed up in a different way with Brotherhood, showing what it looks like for brothers to honor each other, showing what it looks like for us to attach faith to what it is that we're doing in an industry where there's been such a shadow on people even being able to flex their faith and being able to do it the way that we most enjoy it and have fun. And that's connected us to incredible people like you and so many others in the industry as we continue to challenge the mindsets of each and every one of us every day. Inside of that, when we did connect to start the podcast, of course, I've been going through years of growth on my own and trying to figure out where it is that I want to go. I loved pouring into salespeople, loved making sure that I reached into the community and did different things to help out kids and those that need to believe. But writing a book seems like something that takes forever, especially when you don't get to the point of really completing it and feeling like there's more of what has to happen. And when my heart first wanted to ever do any sort of a podcast or anything like that, it was to back up the ideas and the concepts that are written inside of the Forgive, Focus, Fly book. And that has yet to be released because it's not even completed yet. Nowhere near.
Oh, it will. It will. It will. I know it will.
We'll talk about that here on the show. You all will definitely get your honorary copies of it. But in that, we started to take the language into this business, and our wordplay is fun, and we enjoy trying to make sure that we do lean on different word tracks and different correlations and ways that get challenged and also stick in your head and you have fun with, right? And we created this brand that we want to make sure that you do taste, smell, hear, feel, connect to, and even to the point of when you hear it, you know, oh, it's about ready to go to the next level.
Yeah, you guys certainly do that. So if I'm not mistaken, we're about a couple of weeks apart when we started our company and when you guys rolled out. I think within a couple of weeks, January, right before COVID hit, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now listen, I knew podcasts were out there and people had, I don't really get too much into my story. I probably will a little bit today because I know that's our stories are kind of alike in a lot of ways. And I think really most people's are, but regardless, okay, you rolled this thing out and you brought something that I had not really seen before. And you woke up something in me because of your connection, how you roll things out, your voice inflection, your backdrop there, the words you use, and the people you engage with. And I don't know exactly when, but we were one of, we early on with you. I think Charity reached out to you, and it's been a ride ever since. But you were talking about how you met, and your story goes back 18 to 20 years ago. And Fred, I don't know if you did, Lou, but Fred, thank you for your service, man.
Yes, both of you.
Yes, I forgot to say, yes, I am a veteran of the United States Army.
Right.
We were the ones that tried to keep these guys safe.
Well, then we're gonna give you a 10% discount on the show today.
They're the ones who didn't have anything unless the Air Force dropped it off for them.
They did.
That's right. That's right. So I know that there's Nico.
Hey.
She's gonna mute out for just a second, but so I know that for me, I started selling cars in 1985, and worked my way up to actually running stores. But I got lost. I know that's part of your story too. I was very selfish, self-seeking, self-centered. It was all about me, myself, and I. And the consequences for the things that I did and the things that I said and with people had really devastating results. And I had a very profound, that doesn't happen. Some people get the garden variety, they grow into it, etc. Drugs and alcohol were just a huge problem for me. And I've been in treatment many times, etc. But I had a really defining moment, December 1st of 1994. and my life completely changed. I had a very profound burning bush, spiritual God experience, whatever you want to call it. But I knew, just like people that get saved and stuff like that, they have a thirst or, for learning as much as they possibly can. And I knew I needed to do the same thing as well. And so, I think that a lot of people have crossroads in their life where they go, okay, this isn't working anymore. Something's going to have to change. Did that happen to you guys?
How many times? My goodness.
I'd say there's been like
so
almost every
right.
other year that happens to me, right?
Okay, so you're just a couple of normal guys, right? Okay, got it.
We're just, as down to earth as it can be.
That's right. And I was thinking about this last night, and I talk about this, is that, a lot of people have come up to me lately and they're like, hey, we really love what you do. You're very vulnerable. Like, you really show people, what it's like and this and that. I'm like, I think that, but I also believe that it's not 100%, because I appreciate the compliment and I do know what they mean by that, because I'm out there and I put myself out there. Sure. But I don't show all the worst times. There is bad times all the time. Sure. Each one of us have a moment in our lives. I mean, I could probably go back in the last 30 days and think of a bad moment or bad decision that I made. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. What I do believe and what I do know is that I do have a father, and this father that is looking down on me forgives me for all my sins, as long as I take his son as my savior. Right. And all I had to do was proclaim that and just know that in my heart. And it's okay to not be perfect. None of us are. Nope. And one thing is for sure is that none of us are perfect. Lou and I, maybe to some people might think it because we do so much content and it looks like we're always having fun. That is true. We are having fun quite a bit. And I'm not going to ever deny that. We are some blessed guys. We get to do a job that we love. But in between those videos, we're working, we're hungry, we're tired, we're exhausted, we're confused, we're like trying to figure out how we do things. Sure. Nothing we have done was something that we've done before. This is all new to us. Right. So to any of you all out there watching this, just understand that if there's something that you want, just because you've never done it doesn't mean you can't do it. The key is to have faith, right? And
absolutely.
When you put faith and you put some work behind it. Matter of fact, you put all the work behind it, the faith gets stronger. And what you want, the manifestation of everything that you ever dream of will happen. But at the same time, during that time, you're going to have setbacks. Am I not right, Russell? Russell knows this.
Listen,
Russell,
we get hurt, don't we?
We do.
Get hurt. In love and in a lot of other things, but being vulnerable, you touched on being vulnerable. If you don't put yourself out there and allow yourself to live life again, instead of shutting yourself down, you're missing it. Now you tell me what you think. Do you think that life really does begin at the edge of someone's comfort zone, or you think it's okay just to stay in your comfort zone and not do anything?
Well, we would never ever say stay inside of that comfort zone, stay inside of that posture of comfort, because that is literally the posture that you get in as you are going into your transition, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And there is something to be learned from just watching a garden grow, and each and every bit of it is being stretched. Each and every bit of it is reaching towards light. If you're not reaching towards something, you're digressing, right?
Absolutely.
A still water pond that doesn't actually have a flow to it eventually sees things die off, right? That's where dead water beings come. But if you have a sort of a stream to it, like Fred, even, right? He has a pond out here, but there's a flow that goes into it, right? Making sure that the water is renewed on a consistent basis. There's something about making sure that if you're always open, sometimes something yuck and bad can get in there.
Sure.
Be open for the things to be flushed out. And that's where we've found ourselves being blessed enough, is that we've known and we've had great people in our lives to say, man, you're probably struggling because of this area, or you probably need to dig a little deeper in that. Whether it's people in faith, whether it's people in the business, anytime that we would find ourselves being kind of stopping up our own flow, there would be somebody or something or an event to help us say, man, we have to unclog that. We have to fix that. We have to become the conduits that we're designed to be, so that we can pour into who we need to pour into. But the setbacks and even the self-compromising, right? Being a man of faith in this business, as I've been my entire career, I have been a proclaiming, Jesus, juice, drinking, loving of the Lord, right? And that there's been challenges, there's been compromises. Not everybody gets to see those. if many people saw the compromises that were on this man that says how much he loves and knows he is loved of the Lord, there would be lots of judgment there.
Yeah.
This man has seen the many reasons why somebody wouldn't count me as a good Christian, right?
Well, yeah, but we're all sinners. We all fall short, right?
Right, but
Yeah.
loved me in spite of, right? And ran with me in spite of, and learned with me and taught me in spite of, right? And inside of that, that's what we want to make sure we get out there, is that we're not the sum of the things that we've done, right? We are identified regardless of what we've done and what we're going to do by who it is that we are. Nowhere on your identification does it say you are the creator of FixedOPS.
No.
Right.
Sure.
You're not that. And in that, the identification is where we want to make sure that we line ourselves up with who it is that we actually are, and that we're not defined by what we did. We allow our identity to define our behaviors. We don't let our behaviors identify us.
No, I agree. It's like, everybody's probably heard this, but it's like you're driving in a car and you keep checking that rear view mirror out every few minutes. And it's what it's meant for, just to look back, reflective, just for a moment, because you spend too much time there, you're darn sure going to have a wreck, right? No, that's great stuff.
But in that, we've learned how to honor each other, and we've learned how to honor the people around us and take the good, right? You don't take every bit of the coffee bush, right? You take just a little bit that gets pulled out of the bean that gets grinded up. You know what I mean? There's so much.
No, absolutely. Here's a question I got to ask. Okay. So you guys are a team, you're in a relationship together, you're in the store together, you're cutting it up, doing your own stuff together. So doing a podcast together. Okay. And as close as you guys are, talk to us about behind the scenes stuff. What was it like learning and working together in a podcast and stuff like that? Were there any challenges, trials, and tribulations? Fred's ready. Come on, Fred.
I mean, yeah,
Spill it. Spill it.
We spent like almost 3 months practicing before we even did the first show. We pre-recorded the first handful of shows. But after that, we started doing them pretty regularly live. I mean, it was like the first 10 were like all pre-recorded, edited, put out. The rest were live, and then we re-edited them and put them back out. That type, using like much like Charity's gonna do with this content, right?
Right. Well, yeah, what we do.
Right, and it's a beautiful thing to be able to do. So we realized if we did both, it was a quick way to put some content out quick, but also still have that content for later. But as we were doing it, we were listening to it. But I'll be honest, was there really any struggle? No, I think it was just the getting comfortable with it. We understood that we each like to speak a lot, so what we had to learn was, and not really learn, it was actually pretty natural, just let them talk. Like Lou would be like, man, after listening, I talked too much during that one.
Dude, I wouldn't shut up.
Dude, I did the whole episode almost, right? I'm like, dude, it's okay. And I told him that. I was like, dude, I don't even think about that when it's happening. What I'm doing is I'm literally, maybe I'm sitting there, and you might see me, like Lou might see me go like in front of us, I have the screen, and I might circle the time because we're getting close to time. But that's it. Like, I don't ever say, dude, you talk too much. Because what I believe is that all he's going to do is get better and better and better. And he was killing it from the beginning. He has so much to say, right? So I'm like, say it, go ahead. Mm-hmm. And if it's feels, I don't need to speak, because I don't even need to speak, but there's going to be the time where it's me, where I'm gonna all of a sudden be like,
I feel ya.
and that's okay. You do, I know, right? We do that, but if
it's the hype man effect, right?
Right, but it's
I
fine.
have a hype man, he does.
You let him be. Right. What I do know is that there's gonna be my time. There's gonna be his time, and I know that we're not gonna just do one episode. We're not just gonna do 2 episodes. Lou and I are gonna do a series and years and content. We're never gonna stop doing this. So why do I need to worry about speaking right now? It's not about me. The whole point of the show and the whole reason why we started it was to change the way people thought about the automotive industry. I wanted people to come in and be impacted and to feel uplifted, and the whole what I believe is happening with the show. Right. But the struggle was just being confident. The struggle was making sure we knew where to send. How do we upload these things to make it a podcast? Where do we send it? Well, how much does that cost? What is this? What's that? Does this even sound good? How do we tweak this? And are we even talking about something people want to hear? Right. And we went through all that, but it was great. Lou would leave here at like 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning sometimes, after we sit here for a few hours of just grinding it out, recording things, and I would listen to it just kind of like getting ready to go to bed, and I'd start listening to it, and I would listen to it, and then I'd call Lou. I was like, he's not home yet. He can't be. I'd call him.
Bro, this is golden.
And yeah, exactly. This is gold.
Mhm.
We got something here. And I remember just feeling that way. Like you'd hear it, and we haven't even released any of that ever. But when I listen back, I guarantee if I go back and I listen to the first 3 hours we ever recorded, it's gold. It's like really passionate stuff about what we want to do. And it's like, whew.
And automotive knowledge, right?
And the craziest thing is
that
if you go back and you listen to a lot of that, the dreams that we had came true. The stuff, just like God wants us to do, he wants us to speak it, wants us to do all these things.
That's
And
right.
we said it, and the interviews that I wanted to have happened. Where we wanted to go happened. The places it's so crazy. But the thing is, just like I said earlier, it's like you have to have faith, but you have to put the work behind it. And
Absolutely.
you put the work behind it. And I mean, you're like almost to the point of like, is it too much? You know,
No.
get to the point of it's too much, because it's not.
No.
And that's the beautiful part about it. So
Yeah, you cannot
It
keep
was
what
fun.
you have unless you give it away. And
Yeah.
that you guys have figured that out. There's leaders out there, and there's servant leaders. And then there's 3 kinds of people out there. There's people that see, and people will see if you show them and lead them. And then unfortunately, there's some people who just don't see, can't do anything about that. You can let them where they're at and move on down the road and hope that they get it at some other point in time. So Lou, you mentioned earlier, you were talking, it's like walking up and down an escalator. When you stop, you're just backing up, right? And I many years ago, this guy was telling me about this, what it's like with my relationship with God. Okay. And how important it is, the stuff we hear about, you reap what you sow. It's better to give than to receive. And if you help enough other people get what they want, you're going to get what you want. And being a servant leader versus a leader, there's differences between the two. And so he painted this picture of this, mountaintop, thawing, and this pristine, crystal clear stream going down the mountain. And it's beautiful, pure, right? And then it ends up and it starts taking on different directions. And then it gets over here, it gets stopped up. Beavers build a dam, and it becomes a cesspool, and it turns green and all that kind of stuff. And the thing is to keep it open and to keep it flowing, because I think our bodies and our minds are like that too. Don't you guys think that we have to keep it open? We have to keep the channel open.
And that would be where the only damn problem showed up.
Yeah.
Speaking of that flow, right? Is that
about as
we
close to a cuss word you'll lose.
is that we were flowing, right? We were letting this come from us. And those that were letting it get stopped with them or
Right.
not utilizing it, those that the closest amongst us, right? The sales pros right there in our area. We would think that everybody would support, and it was a minority of those that we wanted the most to support at first, right? Until they saw more headway, then the support started to increase and then decrease on others. That would be some of the only struggle there, is where I don't know if you quite get it yet, right? This is something we have to get out of us now. It's almost like because it really is a calling, right? There's deeper understanding that we're not just a couple of car guys that want to make sure that people learn how to do business better. Fundamentally, I accept the mantle of an evangelist to an industry, to professionals, to let them know that there's a cornerstone you must put in place before you actually build upon that. There's a foundation that has to be dug
Absolutely.
and built upon in order for anything to be standing. And that is your proper placement of your faith, right? And then understanding all the levels that go with that there's challenges with that. But if that flow isn't aligned properly, then things could get stopped. And then you have a lot of damn problems, right? There's a suffocation to that flow. And when that does happen, we can either make a decision do we cut down the dam, do we break past it, or do we allow that flow to continue elsewhere? And if somebody else built the dam, it's not my responsibility to cut it down. It's my responsibility to make sure that the flow keeps going. And that is where the adjustments in our own business came in, is that, okay, we have to adjust this because we didn't necessarily get exactly where we thought we were going to be, but we received the things we started praying for and understood that we got there just by having faith each step, not by
Absolutely.
necessarily saying, let's go ahead and attach a rope from here to there and we're going to swing there. No, we're going to trust God with each step.
You have to. I mean, faith without works is dead, right?
That's
I mean,
right.
people can say they have faith, but if they're not doing anything, they're not. And I realized in my life a lot of things. There's only a few things I do real well. I used to try to do all these other things real well.
Mhm.
And I realized that when a mentor came into my life, he said, Russell, there's two kinds of fear: fear of what you know and fear of what you don't know. Okay. And some people are paralyzed with walking outside of their comfort zone and experiencing the fear of the unknown. They're more comfortable with the consequences. They know that'll take place in the comfort zone that they're in. But you guys are getting way out there. Your actions match your words. You're uplifting. You've realized and pivoted with things that are going on in the industry, which we have too since COVID. I mean, technology is moving so fast, right? Automotive, and the message that we're sending out there to everybody. Women, the podcast that you've done with all the different women coming in, like Charity. Look, she's chief marketing officer
With a baby on my lap.
with a baby on her lap, right?
That's
Exactly.
awesome.
And I think it's, but you guys are constantly spreading this. You're constantly stretching. You're getting people, you know what? And your faith has spilled over to people too.
I think
which
so.
is
You guys, you can really get the feeling that you guys are very passionate about your podcast and you're meant to do it, and people really follow you and gravitate to you. It's really wonderful. And you guys are now traveling the country together and going to different dealerships. And I've got to ask, because whether they're our best friends or brothers or sisters, everybody, has their moments where they don't get along too well. And I'm wondering if you guys have those sort of butthead brotherly moments.
It's funny. People love asking that question.
Oh, really?
How do you guys get into it or anything like that? And to be 100% transparent, our wives, when they get to see this, if they hear that, they would testify. We've never really had an argument, right? Do we have moments of correction with each other? Yes. Inside of, hey, no, we need to relook at it this way. Do we have challenges to each other's thought? Absolutely, because every great relationship has that. But inside of that, we've been able to maintain a submission to God above ourselves, but an honor of each other, and knowing, hey, what you bring to the table is what you bring to the table. We're not going to do this by ourselves. We're going to do this as a unit, and I'm going to pour into your fire. You're going to pour into mine. We're going to reciprocate each other. But there's not been too many moments of tension, but sometimes just, oh, man, we're kind of confused about this.
Just directions. Like, I think there's times where I may have had an idea of what I wanted us to do, and then Lou was like, no, man, this is really, and I'm like, okay. And it's really just listening to each other. And it's not, and it was never out of hate. Like, I know that there was times that I did the same with Lou. Like, Lou was like, hey, boom, 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 boom. Cause Lou is an idea guy. Like, so am I, but Lou is very, as you
are, yeah.
when he speaks, he can get really into, and he wants to do a million things at one time. And I'm cool with that, but I'm like, hey, sometimes I got to break it down smaller, right? I'm like, this is, for me, this is the best way, or this is too much for me to be able to control. So we get into those conversations never out of hate. It's always out of like love for each other. And then we make an agreement at the end of it. It's never, I mean, I have to say it's, I don't know what, I don't feel like it will ever be anything besides that. I don't know why we would have any other disagreement, because we keep to that. We're always going to do what's right. And we're always going to do what's best for both of us. And if it's not right for him, I'm just going to, and he knows it. If he was like, dude, I'm out, I'm like, I'm out too then. Yeah, and it's the same way with me. I'm out. He'll be like, I'm out too. So it's the way.
I love that. That level of communication and trust and love that you guys have for each other. I learned a long time ago that particularly with my wife, we don't get into, we don't have that. I know a lot of relationships do. And I did in a previous one. Knockdown dragouts. I didn't really understand. I really didn't have the faith or the understanding of people and my own emotions. But I know this. Okay, when we first got together, she noticed I'm the emotional one in the family, so I get really emotional about things. I could watch a movie and start crying. I know you guys aren't like that, but so I'll watch a movie. But if I'm really upset about something, one of the first conversations, she noticed I was really agitated and upset, and she reached over and leaned over and said, "What's going on?" What's going on? Tell me what's going on. And, you know, a lot of times if you're hurting, people tend to want to hurt the people unintentionally, but they hurt the people because they're emotional. They can't think logical. So I told her, because I learned this in my journey, that when I'm emotional, don't engage me, because it's stupid. It's selfish. It's some fear-based thing of something that I thought you should have done or could have done, or didn't get done, or whatever the case may be. And that's not the case at all. So when I'm emotional, leave me alone. Sometimes it'll take a couple of minutes, sometimes a little longer. And ultimately I end up looking in the mirror and laughing and thinking how stupid I would have been to actually engage that in the emotional state I was in, because I would say things I can't take back. Is that, you know, like how you guys work, that you just love each other where you're at, man?
Right. And we've been very versed in understanding each other's flow, right? Like a good basketball team.
Yeah.
In any case scenario, we know, okay, that this isn't the time for that, right? It's not too often I express my anger, or I really don't express it too much. I try not to give it. That's my personal flow, is I try not to give it too much attention, too much word. But if it comes up, it comes up, and it's recognized, it's loved on, right? And it's listened
Right
to,
on.
and it's shifted. But we're very good about not both being at the same temperature if we know that one's boiling, right?
That makes it work, doesn't it?
Ease it back, and okay, cool, we hear you, right? Because the worst thing that you can do to somebody that's boiling is not give them a release valve, right? You're going to break something. So
That's right.
it's inside of that relationship, we get to say, okay, bro, I'm hearing you, or I'm feeling you, I'm with you. Let's go. Let's throw gas on that fire that you're excited about, if it's a passion. But we've committed to both really being each other's hype man. I am completely vested inside of seeing him fully achieve his potential,
That's
voice
amazing.
what he has in professionalism for people, but also what's inside of him that he's yet to even discover. That I'm here to continue to pump into that heartbeat so that it explodes out of him, whether it's words of encouragement, whether it's scripture, whether it's, bro, I love you, whether it's, hey, I'm just here.
Fact of the matter is I'm Lou's biggest fan, right? I know that there's nobody out there who believes in Lou more than me, you know, maybe God, but I do believe that when it comes to what he does, the shit. He's the bomb, right?
All right. Yeah. No,
Like, I really mean that. Like, he's totally, like, to me, great speaker, great trainer, great all the above, right? Great business partner. I'm a huge fan of Lou Ramirez, and he's my business partner. So I'm going to cheer him on. When we're on stage together, there's times where I'm at awe of what he's saying. I'm just watching him like, wow,
oh my God,
he's crushing it right now. Because much like you talked about this show, it's not really scripted what we do. We have an idea, more bullet points of what we're going to talk about, but everything always comes from our heart. So there's a moment where I'm going to watch Lou and I'm going to be like, holy crap, Lou, you just dropped some amazing stuff.
Boom, drop the mic.
Mind-blowing stuff, right? And I have literally dropped the mic on a stage when I'm on a stage with Lou before.
He has.
And literally walked away because it was that great. And it's just one of those things where you do that. And I love being that with him. I am his greatest fan. I want him to do nothing but have great things for himself, for his family, for everyone he's interacted with, his church, the people, the foster kids he wants to take care of. I want all that for Lou, 100% of it, to the point where it's mine too, right? So that's where our relationship's at.
That's what I want people to hear about you two. Now, it's not like, you know, it's been a long time, because I see you guys or hear you guys at least 3 times during the week, right? You know, in the morning, 2 times on Clubhouse and 1 time in Car Guy Coffee Church, you know, so
7:30 on a Tuesday and 7:30 on a Thursday.
And then
hey, come join us, right? Come join us. I mean, it is really great. You know, it really great. I don't know how many people, you know, I was listening to, and you guys are on the cutting edge of this too, but you just finished a podcast out of NADA with Glenn Lundy. Okay. And I got a chance to meet him, say hi. Thank you very much. Because it probably wouldn't happen unless our booth was just almost catty corner to where you guys were at one part of the day, and the other part you were over on the other side. But Glenn said something at the end of the podcast that just blew me away, that he was talking about it, the way I remember it anyway. He's talking about technology and how things have moved from 1922 to 2022 over the last 100 years. And that he thinks in the next 5 years that we're going to move that same 100 years in technology. And it's just amazing. And you guys are part of that. You inspired us, and you inspire so many people. We want to do the same thing. We want to do exactly the same thing. As a matter of fact, we have more women in my company than men. And I know, and you guys are big promoters of that as well. And I know, I don't want to go too long with this, but okay. So you do a lot of traveling. I think it was about December or January, 4 or 5 months ago, that you left automotive and poured full time into where you're going now. And so now you're actually traveling into dealerships and helping them go to the next level. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, just real quick on the timetable, it was actually August for myself and
Okay.
October for Fred.
Okay.
And from there we've been connecting with different dealers, supplying different automotive solutions into their stores,
There you go.
but ultimately helping to bring in the training and the culture shifting that has to happen in order for any of the upgrades a dealer wants to do to actually take root. And so many times there's dealers or leaders that come back with a big bag of fresh new seeds with all of the potential
Sure.
for new things to grow, right? And they're excited about it, they're pumped up, but they bring it back to their store and they put it into dry, unprepared ground.
Unfortunately, yes.
And inside of that, there's an element to where vendors would love to provide the solution in many cases that can say, hey, I can also help fix and train your store in their operation level. But the fact is, not enough of them, and most of them don't have the access to real-time dealership lifestyle. And in that's where we've come in with that solution from there. And we've had a blast going, I mean, almost coast to coast. We're working on something in California, right? But we've had a blast going everywhere and inspiring everybody in a different market because everybody is motivated.
That's all the same though. That's the thing. Like, okay, so you can get deep with it all we want. And we get deep. As you can see, we got Lou Ramirez.
You are.
I'm going to tell you what it is. It's just that people need to just be told that it's okay to be a good person in this automotive. You don't have to be a liar. You don't have to be a cheater. You don't have to be a thief. You can just be a good person that wants to help people, but we just got to know better processes and we got to have clear processes. The biggest problem isn't the salespeople at the dealership or even the staff. It's the fact that their processes isn't clear and transparent and it's different for everybody they're dealing with instead of just taking care of people. So it's really about just becoming better at, and I did a post the other day. It's about just teaching people how to be good people.
Yep.
And if you could teach them to do that and have conversations with their customers and get to know their customers and learn and ask questions, and maybe it's teach them what questions to ask, maybe.
No. So true. I remember for the self-seeking, self-centered part of myself I was telling you about. So I had a lapse, and this is when that burning bush thing happened. And I took care of myself for about 60 days, got out, I didn't go back into the business. And then when I started, I had to do something. And without getting into a long dissertation, the only solution for me was to go back in self. I didn't want to be a manager because I needed to focus on me and my relationship with God and building, finding out who I was. Okay. That's what I had to do. But I didn't know any other thing I could do because of my education fell on, all that kind of stuff. Right. So the program director said, Russell, this is not healthy for you to get back into that business because of the people that are in that business. And I disagreed and said, there is another way to do this. Okay. Where I don't play on the things that I used to do. Before, I'd work the desk, I'd work the customer. I always wanted to know where I was at in the deal, trying to make as much money as I possibly could at any expense. This time it was different and it worked. And I genuinely focused on the road to the sale, right? Because if you deviate from it, it'll cost you gross, repeat, referral, CSI, and SSI every time. It's not coincidence, chance, or luck. It's math. You just do take care of people, genuinely just help them find their needs, wants, and desires. And I ended up making more money that way without working the desk, without working the customer, but just being human, one-on-one, developing a relationship with them. That's the kind of stuff I believe that you guys do. Is that correct?
Absolutely. We definitely try to keep a mantra going that we've learned from our last dealership owner that did trigger us to understand it's not just selling cars, it's solving transportation problems. When we understood that,
biggest thing,
it exploded our look upon it, because we would often say, and most trainers will say it, hey, you're helping people make the second largest purchase that they'll ever make, some of them the biggest, right? And it always gets attributed back to the dollar amount, where truthfully, we're back to the solving fundamental problems. If you have no roof over your head, you got a problem. right? And
right.
you need to take care of that problem. And if you don't have a way to get to work, you don't have a way to get to the doctor, you don't have a way to get around, you got a problem. We are solving one of the largest problems that humans have.
But inside that problem, there's a million different problems. So
Right.
like some people know that they need a car, no big deal, right? They come in, but they maybe have financing problems, right?
Yes.
They may not have down payment. They may have negative equity problems. They may have problems because the last person they dealt with at a dealership treated them so bad that when they come in, their guard is up. Understandable, right? So that is it. We are trying to help people solve a transportation problem because everybody has one. There's millions and millions of people driving cars every single day, right? Across this country, across most dealerships, there's thousands of cars driving by every single day. They all found a way to buy one. So we have to understand that we're there to solve that problem, but we have to figure out what that problem inside that problem is for them.
Right.
Because everyone's different. Somebody might come in with the most perfect credit, but they owe 10 grand over what their vehicle's worth. So how do we solve that problem for them?
Yeah,
right?
no, people would, when I changed my philosophy and I genuinely focused on them, I had the same thing, credit challenge, this or that. When they knew that I know a lot of times when people come into a dealership, there's this stigma, right, associated with car salesmen and car saleswomen. And I liken it to this because when condition responses, even when I walk into a place, someone comes up, says, "Can I help you?" I say, "No, I'm just looking." Okay, it's a condition response, right? That's all it is. And so I'm sitting there working with them and get to know them and stuff like that. And I know one thing, for me anyway, some people can probably do it, but I can't. If my actions don't match my words, and I find that in other people that I'm working with, I sense this uneasy feeling, and I know something's not right, and I don't need to be making decisions with that. So my job is just solving a transportation need, exactly what it is, and changing the culture in the business. And that's so when you go into a store, how do you start out? What do you do with this? They've had trainers in there before. You do the sales, you do F&I, do you do anything in fixed ops as well? I mean, do you do the whole thing, or doesn't make a difference what department you're in? You're talking people to people. Is that right?
That is
People to people.
100%. I don't believe there is when it comes to automotive for us, Lou and I can speak almost any language in the dealership, right? Whether it be fixed ops, we've both been involved in fixed ops. We've both been, is it what I've considered expert at? No, but what I consider myself an expert in fixed ops at is the culture, the heart of fixed ops, right? How to actually get people to work for you, how to get people to be excited about coming to work every single day and doing what they do. And that is universal language. And that's universal language. Just being a good person. So yes, we do training all the way from beginning to the end. We do training from just salespeople's training to teaching people how to do a deal from beginning all the way to doing finance with it, the A to Z type of sales pro. We even do that now. We do individual sales training. We do coaching.
Detail artist.
I'm coaching and mentoring a finance manager, literally just coaching and mentoring this person just to get to the next level. Because we all get stuck and we don't know. We saw somebody, the two best car salesmen on the planet, Frank Granitti and Ollie Rita. Amazing car guys, both of them selling over 100 cars a month, doing amazing things, but they each at one point were stuck at 30, right? They didn't think there was anything more because no one around them was doing more. And then they heard there was more. They did 40, then they did 50, then they did 60. So that's the same thing when it comes to what we do. All we want to do is go inside and show that you can do more. Right. You can be better.
And in that doing more, do you find, I used to find anyway, but when I ran stores, I'd knock down those barriers in that culture between sales, F&I, aftermarket, service advisors and technicians. They seem to be separate departments. One doesn't want to have anything to do with the other. And I always like to break down that barrier. Do you guys find a lot of that sometimes in dealerships? Well,
we notice that is a natural part of the business that occurs when there's a separation in language, when there is a divide in the way that we talk about ourselves and we talk about you guys back there. Right? We don't talk about, hey, we're all part of the same family. And that's fundamentally the first thing that we come in is to fix the way that the language is. A solutionary speaks differently, right? A solutionary looks at a problem differently. And when they speak about the problem, they speak about it from the vantage point of knowing that there's a solution when we get through the problem, but we don't do it by ourselves. We do it together. So we know the way, we show the way to each other, and we team up, we lock arms, and we go the way together. And
that's what everybody loves about you guys. That right there, the solution, I'm telling you right now, everybody's got challenges, problems, rough spots, whatever you want to call it. And when they start, this is what I've seen with you guys. When they start to talk about that stuff, you'll listen just for a second and you move towards the solution.
Come on.
There's the solution. You can't stay there. It goes nowhere. It's a bottomless pit. It's a wormhole. It's a vortex, right? It's a black hole. Sorry, I just got a little excited.
No, I'm with you.
true, man.
But it's so true.
That's it. I remember Matt Damos, we used to tell salespeople all the time, don't come to me with an issue. Come to me with a solution.
Yeah.
Because if you're coming with an issue, all you're doing is, lack of better words, bitching. Right. So
Yeah.
So I don't want to do that. I don't want you. You got to get your mindset different. You need to come up with a solution. Come to me with a solution. We'll figure it out together. It's more positive. It's better. So when you think that way, that's all that is just shift of mind. Shift of mind of like, man, this problem. Oh, this problem. Instead of being like, how do we come up with a solution? This is a chance to grow. This is a chance to learn something here. This is a chance to grow
Absolutely.
1% today. And that's all we have to
Absolutely.
do. So let's find a solution. So it's just a shift.
So
It's
behind
really
the,
a shift.
I'm sorry, behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Okay. So for example, our company, like yours, we are really in explosive growth right now.
You guys are.
It's overwhelming. Some of the things during the week when we talk on Clubhouse and stuff like that about time management and calendars and stuff like that. But do you have like Charity is my right arm. I wouldn't even be where I'm at today without her. Her talents and capabilities and her tenacity and work ethic, even staying at home, raising a couple of kids, etc. I always like to edify her in public because she is an amazing woman, extremely talented. You also have people behind the scenes that are assisting and helping in some of the areas too. Yes, tell us a little bit about those. Come on.
We have a couple of wives that say, "Go get them, boys," and that's about all.
That's all you need, isn't it? Really?
That's really all.
Well,
that's truly that we need. But
you saying that is kind of, it's kind of weird you say that. We are, and I'm just going to put this out there, eventually going to be looking for some people like very soon. We do need help. We are at a scaling issue now where we're starting to separate. The last week, Lou and I didn't see each other because we had to go to different dealerships because we are starting to get that busy.
Well, Charity's off the table.
Now
Forget it.
hiring, everybody.
No, hell
Now
no.
hiring.
We are looking. We are going to be. I'm just going to say we are looking.
Yeah, we are.
And we're looking for the
actively
right
looking,
people.
yes.
And when it does, I'm going to invest in you. I'm going to spend time training you. I'm going to make sure you're right because I believe that in order to be a solutionary, you got to have the right mindset,
Right.
but also know that we're there to make sure that you make it and you will be a solutionary. So, and no different than how I would train a sales staff. I'm going to make sure my staff is trained to be able to go out there and do the thing, to include being part of a podcast,
Right.
to include doing social media on the daily. But the assistants, I would love to have Charity or someone, our clone Charity. We do love that. Right now, I'm kind of that guy that does the organization of like what times and stuff like that. I'll send the calendar invites that Lou never puts on his phone, but I still send it to him. But it's okay. I know he's not. So if it's something super important, I just remind him. But I know that he's going to show up. He still looks at him. He gets the emails, right? So Lou's very responsible. I'm not trying to say he's not. I'm just a little bit more in that.
There's different.
That's okay. Each of you have your strengths is what makes a great relationship. Now you just mentioned something that
planner guy, you go in here, you this show's on here. Everything's in my planner. So if you want to know what I'm going to do for the next 30 days, come about 30 days good in this, here it is, right? You might add a few things, but that's me. You got to be organized or you're
But things are changing right now, aren't they? You just said something that I don't think I heard before. When I hear from you and I see you on social media, you guys are together. You said you were traveling, you were in different stores.
Yeah,
this last week,
first time ever, we Lou, I went to a dealership in Illinois to do some coaching and mentoring with the finance manager there. Lou flew up to Philly to go to a dealer in Jersey and do some dealership training with some sales staff there. Really amazing stuff. They do even have a couple managers get involved, which is really cool.
Excellent.
It's always good when that happens. Great store. We love them. Shout out to Lilliston, Ford, and CDJ up there. Love you guys.
We love you all.
But
then from there,
he flew down to A-Flow's store down in Texas, down in Victoria. And was at the Nissan store and the Honda store and spent some time with them. Forgive focusing flying and bravo.
Texas, I'll tell you, man, Texas is a big state. You could drive for 10 or 11 hours straight and still not get through all Texas at certain points.
Yeah, what a trip.
It's a huge state.
What a trip. A lot of driving,
we're separated because we had to, or we wouldn't be able to fill in our
obligations. Typically you don't do that because you're a team, right?
I believe in the power of two. One can raise 1,000 while two can raise 10,000. And that's a very powerful saying to me. And it's so true. So even together, though we are together apart, it's to me, it's great that we're able to do that. And we both have the energy. I think that we both have enough energy for 20 people a person. Right. But at the same time, when we're together,
it's definitely more dynamic as a duo.
Because when like if he's like toning down, I could tone it up, right? If I'm toning down, he could tone it up. If he's tired, I may not be, and that's what's beautiful. And
Yeah,
that's
you feed each other.
Yeah, and that's what I want with my staff. As I build this team, people who's watching, I want twos. I want two guys, or a guy and a gal, or two ladies. I don't care who it is. I want two people that are ready to work together, trained to be solutionaries, to go out there and service our clients out there, service all dealers, salespeople, service departments, everybody that we're helping. I need you to be that ready for that. But if you're ready, this is exploding. This rocket ship is going somewhere big time. And it's a great opportunity to be the first people that we pour into, that become our staff, become part of our family.
It's going to be great.
That is amazing.
I'm sorry, Charity, go ahead.
Oh no, I just say that's amazing. I'm sure whoever you guys find will be, really enthusiastic and ready to go, ready to light a fire under you guys.
They will.
And you guys are going all over now, right? Together and now sometimes apart. Is there any either negative or positive memories that you made flying around? I know traveling can be an interesting thing to do on a regular basis. Is there anything that kind of stands out?
Well, I'll say that. Let's see.
Good question.
Great question. Great question. On the traveling part, I got to say that we've been incredibly blessed. We've been blessed on everything, right? I mean, I really have no complaints. I would say that on the traveling end, that has definitely been a part where Fred has had the chance to yield into some of the frustration that may be inside of a faith walk that I would normally have of God's got us, we're going to get there, right? And have to know that it's all going to be okay, because there's so many times that I just still like, oh my gosh, we may not make this.
There's a couple times. It hasn't happened in a while, but there was a couple times I'm like, there's no way we're making this flight, bro.
So good, man.
We get there, we check in, and we're like way less than an hour before the flight. We're like 30 minutes before the flight takes off, and we're showing up, right? You're like, they won't even take our bags. Well, we just take the bags straight in. And they just let us check it at the gate. You're like, okay, we're doing this. We're getting on the plane, right?
Yeah.
Last call. Looking for Fred Lennartz, Ramirez as we're walking.
We're here, guys. Look, I don't cut it that close anymore, and I don't travel. I used to travel, and I'll probably start again in some aspects. It was some things that are up and coming, but I learned some very valuable things. That first of all, I pack, even if I'm gone a week, I don't check bags. Danger zone, right? Because bags get lost, stuff like that. So I pack really efficient. The second thing is I'm TSA. I pay for every 5 years the thing to be TSA, so I can walk through, right? Got to have that. And here's a big one. I don't do connecting flights. I will not do a connecting flight.
Connecting flights,
it's straight through or nothing, man, because you hit something, I mean, you're done, right?
One little delay, it's over. It was 100%. Yeah. It's happened to us once, but we try our best to do nonstops also.
Yeah, that's it. We did have one, right? We had one event, was a digital dealer where we left and they got us to another location. And then we ended up having to stay there for the night, where we wish we would have been able to just stay at the airport that we were at, take that morning flight and hung out with everybody.
We could have went right back out and hung out with everybody and partied, right? And had a good time. But it was like, but instead we get stuck in a town and no car. We got to walk down the road to a Denny's, right? Yeah, and there was like, barely any Ubers around there too. So I was like, oh my goodness, this is like not even fun. We should have totally.
Listen, guys, you're a digital dealer, right?
Yep.
Yes,
we'll be there.
sir. Press pass.
Excuse me, press
coming
through.
Press pass.
We have press passes. Excuse us, press coming through.
Nice.
I love that.
Yeah.
You guys are moving and shaking. So,
dealer.
Do you have a booth, or you just?
No, everybody's booth is our booth.
Everybody's our booth. So we're going to be coming around doing interview, like 10-minute interviews really quick with hopefully, are we going to have camera people there?
We should have some camera people. They've given us the authority to have camera people, and we're working on making sure that we do have the two best with.
We're hoping to have people following us around with cameras, at least just so we can be more free to be able to do something that we've always wanted to do, and that is go around and interview different people and do stuff in the hallways, do stuff everywhere, be able to sit down during a lot of the actual like educational stories. I want to go in there and actually see those, spend some time, and then I want to write an article. I want to finish an article off, write an article about Digital Dealer, about what it is, what Digital Dealer is about, and just write that article and just see if they publish it. We'll see.
I bet they will. Charity and I are actually doing a breakout session on Tuesday at 2:10 in the afternoon.
Tuesday, 2:10.
That's cool because we're not going to be there Monday. We're going to be coming in like Monday for we land around 5.
Yeah.
So we'll be there for that evening festivities,
Yeah.
but the next day, Tuesday, we'll be there all day.
Yeah,
So
the Fixed Ops Director's Guide to Increase Productivity, and Charity and I are doing a dual team
Cool.
on that one. It's at 2:10 on Tuesday, and if you guys could be there for that, it doesn't, regardless, we're going to bump into you.
Yeah, we'll see you there.
It's absolutely too small. So if you guys can participate, that'd be great. A little moral support never hurt anybody, right?
Yeah, friends,
Sweet.
friends,
Heck
man.
yeah,
We
come
love
on
you guys.
Yeah,
No doubt.
we
If
love
we
you
could
guys.
be there.
Raw in the back of the room for us.
So listen,
Cover it, right? The
Yeah,
footage
exactly.
we're going to be submitting to Digital Dealer for them to help promote everybody.
good. You guys got a couple of minutes, and it's yours. Say, promote, breathe, whatever you'd like to do. Tell them how they get a hold of you, and et cetera, et cetera.
You can go to carguycoffee.com, get any of the podcast information. You can reach out to Lou at carguycoffee.com.
Or Fred at carguycoffee.com, or you can call us at 321-FRED-LOU. Leave us a message, text us a message. It doesn't matter. We're going to respond to you. Go to one of our posts, comment, we'll respond to you. If you need anything, you know how to get a hold of us. The one thing that we ask all people to do is lead everything with love. And if you lead everything with love, your life will be much better. The choices you make will be much better, and your heart will be more fulfilled. Man, I'm blessed to be here. We honored to be on the WTF show. That's what I'm talking about. What the Fix Ops. And I had a great time here with Charity and her beautiful baby down there. And of course,
Nico!
we honor you, brother. We appreciate all the love that you've given us from the beginning. And we just want to do everything we can to keep honoring that with you. We do love you. We love everything that you're about. And we look forward to seeing you at Digital
Thank
Dealer.
Yes.
So man,
yes.
you know, certified solutionary is a
Check
big
it
deal,
out.
folks. If you
Check it
guys are
out.
looking for like some kind of just a shot in the arm at the dealership, give us a call. If you need everything at the dealership, give us a call. If you just want
to know where you're at in the dealership,
That's right.
We don't
shout.
Hey, listen, if you don't like what we have to offer, we can shake hands, leave us friends. That's simple. We just want to help. And we may just be able to give you a word of advice and be able to help out there. We're just there to help. We're here to make the difference in the automotive industry, and we are making a difference in the automotive industry. So come
No, absolutely.
We want to make sure that you all are aware that as certified solutionaries, we do know the way, we do show the way,
and we
do
go the way. And that's right.
And we are not percolating problems. We are brewing solutions. The Car Guy Coffee podcast is free for everybody to tune in, get you something,
Man.
put it in your cup,
That's
sip
right.
it on up, and make sure
That's it,
that
man.
you share it around.
That is it. But you know, one thing's for sure. In order for you to keep growing,
You have to
got to do the
apply
3 F's. It's 3 F bombs. All right, let's do it, Lou.
We're
Everybody, come on,
yeah?
Charity. Let's go.
Okay, okay.
All right, so on 3, everybody. 1, 2, 3. Forgive. Focus. Fly. And keep growing. Keep growing.
Listen, Charity and I are certified solutionaries, and you too can become a certified solutionary. I'm telling you, Lou and Fred, listen, if you guys out there, guys and gals, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if this is the first time you've ever been exposed to them, I'm going to tell you what, just like it is for us, like them on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, they're everywhere every day. They blanket the social media airwaves just like we do. So like us both on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or any other avenue where these podcasts, or you want to find out about them, go check them out because they truly are solutionaries. And we want to thank all of you again for another very successful episode of WTF. And that's what the Fixed Ops to all of you. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you guys for very much for coming.
Thank you all. Loved it. Had a great
Love
time.
you guys. Thank you.
Keep it rocking.
Right on.